What's happening? This is Kid Funk. This is Meister Mic. I'm sitting in London with what I would probably say the future of South African music, Thakzin in the building.
Brother.
What's happening?
Oh, good, man.
Good to see you. We were going to do this. Let's do it properly,
Yeah. Come on.
I don't get to do this enough living in London.
Come on, bro.
Nice to have you here.
It feels good to be here, man. Feels really good to be here.
You're one of the few artists at the moment that's doing a lot of traveling from South Africa and pushing your sound, music that you make in South Africa, music that is traditionally South African in other countries. And I've kind of seen you take this journey for quite some time, from someone that's been a producer to DJing a little bit more to creating a new genre and then evolving to this place where you are right now.
Yeah.
How's that feeling for you?
Now for me, I would say it's a journey at the end of the day, because it's like you look at the music where it is and you make music from an imaginary state, imagining that this music should be felt by the rest of the world, and then now you move from there to now you are going there, you're actually seeing those things.
You are in the spot right now, where a lot of South African producers in your space would really like to be, and you're living it, man.
Yeah, and I'm grateful.
That's a really key thing there.
Gratefulness, yeah.
I think gratefulness and just realizing, that you are one of the few that is able to break through, and being humbled in doing that. You're doing a really big show tonight. I mean, Fabric as a club is a bit of an institution. It's 25 years old. I remember back in the day when I was working a CD store in South Africa, getting the first Fabric compilation mixed by James Lavelle, and it's a real iconic club that only has the right people in scenes DJing there. So you have to be pretty credible to land up on the lineup at Fabric. How are you feeling about your set tonight?
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Anxious also at the same time, but
Which is
also
a good place to be.
Yeah, there's a bit of excitement, and there's a bit of nervousness, and of which it has to. If something doesn't make you nervous at some point, you need to question it. You know, if your dreams are not pushing you where you're like, I don't know, then you have to question what you're doing. So it's a bit of that, it's a bit of excitement, and it's a lot of gratefulness. Like, I've been so fortunate to be able to play abroad, but also the shows that I've been invited to and play. It's iconic places, and Fabric happens to be one of it. And I'm like, wow, I'm here.
You're here, and it's happening tonight.
And it's happening tonight, and I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I just want to come as I am.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what's put you here, is to do things truthfully and do things honest to yourself, which you've done this far. And you have kind of changed the shape of how a lot of producers make music in South Africa. And I want to take it back to the beginning of that point. I remember when I had my radio show on 5FM, Selective Stars, and I had you in, and we were talking, I'd been a very big fan of your music. I'd commissioned a couple of remixes of yours, but you were very much in that Afro lane. Like, you were doing the Afro thing for a minute, and your music was very musical. I mean, that's something that I always kind of look for in records. You had kind of like a certain depth to your productions, and something happened. And I won't even say the Magnificent Dance was that point. I would say the record before that, where you produced, is it Nana Atta?
Oh, Libalele.
Yes. I'm glad you said that word. I'm glad you said the name of the record, because I was playing that record on the radio show a lot. In the world that we're living now, we know that it's three-step, but there was no kind of box for that record when it came out. It was just a production by Thakzin.
Yeah.
I remember actually clearly, announcing it on the radio show, not knowing that you had produced it, and saying, like, I wonder who produced this, because this is really special. And, Twitter was really a big thing over Selective Stars. And someone hit me up, and it was Thakzin. I was like, oh, obviously it was Thakzin. Tell us about, like, the moment that record came about. And in essence, that really kind of set you up for the trajectory that you're going in at the moment. Stylistically, from a production point of view, you kind of created something super fresh, which evolved into three-step then. What was going on in that studio at that time?
Yo, that session, that song when it came about, there was a camp. Zex Pantuna was hosting a camp in Sun City.
That's his goal, huh?
Right?
Yeah.
And I was the driver.
Oh wow.
I was driving Tandy Drive to the camp, and I found myself now in there, and then I'm like, okay, since I'm in there, might as well just work on
I
something.
love it when moments like that happen.
You know, and
like you weren't even supposed to be there.
I wasn't supposed to be there. I was just there to accompany Tandy, and that was it. But then, because I know the guys, and we were vibing, so we got into the studio, and there's something about Nana Atta's voice that is, I don't want to say cultural. It has a soul. You know, whenever she sings, there's this African vibe that I get. There's this African feel that I had. So for me, I was already on that. I want to create a African kind of EP. That was my mindset. I want to create a project that doesn't necessarily go to the floor, but that will just be rhythm based, you know,
Right.
that will just playing with rhythms and all of that. And that's I started working on something there. And you know, whenever the studio sessions that they go cool, and then there's magical studio sessions where you're just feeling everyone's energy, everyone coming in. Bro, that song has Nana Atta, has Tandy Dry doing backing vocals. It has Malin Ora
I was
doing.
about to say Merlin has to be somewhere in the
It
mix
has
there.
Malin Ora doing backing vocals, and all of them, when they came in the studio, they heard that, they felt it.
Okay.
You know, and it was that thing. Can I put this? Can I put this? Can I put this? And bro, it just took a life of its own. I remember listening to the song on my way back from Sun City. I played it until I got home.
No way.
Yeah, just
And
playing
it,
the
I mean,
same.
it is such a strong record.
Yeah, and at that time it wasn't finished, but for me it's like I feel the soul in this, you know. And I think for the first time that was one of the songs that had vocals, a three-step song that had a vocal. And at that time it wasn't even three-step.
That's
you know?
what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was
Production-wise, it was leading. It was way ahead of the pack.
True.
But it was abstract for a Afro-tech producer to be doing that sort of like production. And look, I mean, it sounds like it was totally meant to be, and lots of like happy mistakes in the studio. And I get sent a lot of music, and I very rarely open up a promo from Universal Records because, you know, Universal Music and what I was presenting on Selective Styles are two different things. However, your name wasn't even on that record.
Yeah.
That promo, when it came in, I opened it and it totally connected. So it feels like all the right things were kind of at play when that record happened. And in a sense, Three Step was born. But we didn't know about it until you released Magnificent Dance. Now, this was also, it really feels like I've been on the sidelines watching this all happen, you know, and being a champion of this kind of new style of music without even knowing what to call it. Magnificent Dance got picked up by Sondela. Seth picked it up. I was very jealous. Like, bro, what a record, man. It had everything I love about like club music. It was really exciting. It was a future production. It had like that little jazz flip at the end. It had the piano log drum, which I was not used to in that kind of format pace-wise. But it felt like it was a real, like, a landmark record. And it came from you. Were you kind of taking what you had done production-wise with Nana and creating something in a club context, or how did Magnificent Dance get born? Because that was a moment, bro.
Yeah, you know, actually, yes, Libalele is one of the songs, but there's like 4, if not 5 songs prior, you know, where I'm just trying this thing. Like I said, this is an EP. There was 5 tries of this thing, and I remember that song, Magnificent Dance, was just written 8 January. You know, I did it on the 8th of January, literally. And then it was one of those songs. That was special at that time. I felt was special was how I mixed the joint. You know, so I'm like, okay, this sounds cool. It sounds like it's mixed cool. I wouldn't say I was I picked it up on spot where it's like I believe in this, you know, but it was that whole thing of I feel like this is cool. And yeah, man, let me try it out. Let me just play. And then when I played it, it sort of connected with people because at that time, remember, it was, you know, it's COVID and you can't go anywhere. And then you listen to music and then you can only go to this club which plays on a piano. And then I'm like, okay, go there, play Afro Tech. They're like, we're not sure, we want our thing. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I go back next week, I create something. I'm like, okay, how's this? And then now you see people start moving. You're like, okay, things are connecting, you know. But yeah, Magnificent Dance is one of the songs that I'm really, really proud of myself. And sometimes as creatives, we need, that's why you don't create music for yourself. You need people to listen to this, you know. So the people around me had more belief in the song than I did, actually. You know, for me, it was...
You're not the first producer to say
yeah,
that.
it's like, cool song. For them, it's like, whoa, what is this? You know? And from there, it sort of gave affirmation and confidence in me where it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, let's do it then.
Sure.
You know, and yeah, it's been a blessing. I always thank Seth, you know, for coming through to the house and just listening, and because I would just play him these joints, man, and then that's specifically one of the songs that he picked up.
100%, bro. Shout out, such a great moment, dude.
Yeah.
And none of us knew what to call this music.
Yeah.
I was going on air and I was being like, okay, there's this track, Magnificent Dance, and it sounds like Afrotech had a child with Amapiano, and they birthed this new genre. No one knew what to call it. And then I saw some like banter on Twitter around what this kind of music should be called, and I saw someone saying to someone else, no, bro, it's called three-step. And I remember like thinking to myself, hey, I'm not sure if I like that name. I know what it's called, like I understand what you're saying, but I'm not really sure. So I messaged you, and I've got the message right here. And I said to you, let me find this message. Bro, 21st of April, 2023. Hey bro, hope you're cool. Someone was telling me that the style of Magnificent Dance is three-step. Is that the genre? And you responded to me, yo, big bro, sorry for the late response. Yes, brother, that's one way you can explain the sound. Instead of a 4/4 kick count on a beat song, you remove one, that's three-step. And then I said, yeah, cool, but is that actually the name? And you were like, yeah. And in my mind, that is officially when three-step was born. And it's like, it's a thing now, you know, you travel the world and people are talking about this thing that is now being produced by more producers around South Africa called three-step. How does it feel to you to be essentially the king of the sound? I mean, are you okay with being called the king of three-step, or to be called like the innovator, or how does it feel to be the one that created this thing that is actually, you know, getting you to play Fabric tonight?
Yo, I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful. I would always have a you know, a kind of an uneasiness feeling whenever someone says, "You're king of,"
Right.
king of, where it's like, for me, I get that and I appreciate it. Where I come from, whenever I make music, the music is bigger than me. Do you understand? So, yes, I might be the person maybe that might have helped pioneer the sound to become what it is, but I don't like the word king.
Sure.
You know, I don't like the word king because music comes first, and I always believe, it's weird if I say it, but I always believe that something like three-step, if I didn't receive the message whenever that was happening, someone else was going to do it.
Yeah,
It was just a matter of time.
I love that. And you influenced a whole new generation listening to records. And, you know, you had one of the biggest records in South Africa last year, which happened to be a remix, which is unheard of. Like, how many remixes become like anthems, like radio hit anthems, you know?
Yeah.
You touched Kent's record with Murder
Yeah.
and a couple of the other original like players in the song, and created such a big tune. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Murder, because I know that he's been right next to you on this
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. No, Meda is a big pro. Is one of the people also that was there when the birth of this was happening. And
Yeah.
you know, from the day we met, we kind of clicked. You know, because it's about the music. It's about the love we have for the music. You know, whenever you meet up with someone and then you're just excited because of the music. You know, you hear. I've seen this video of Kanye and Pharrell vibing,
Yeah.
and then you there's a chord that there's music playing in the background. There's this chord, and then they both link. You know, by just looking at each other, where it's like, you heard that? They didn't even say, did you hear that? But
Yeah.
it was the look that says, you hear that?
Yeah.
You know? So it's kind of like the same thing when we met with Meda, and shout out to him, and we were able to just go in studio. We just locked in. And he was one of those people that was like, bro, I believe in what you do, and I want us to help each other. You know, I want us to grow each other's thing. You know, if you have something, let's do it. If I have something, let's do it. And it kind of birth the whole friendship that we have. You know, where it's like we're it's a team thing. It's a team thing. And even like, for an example, Horns in the Sun. Horns in the Sun, the remix Kent came through. Shout out to him, which is one of the people that I look up to.
Everyone, like
Yeah.
the history of Kent in South Africa is just undeniable, man.
Yeah, you know, shout out to him. And he came through and made the remix, and then it had no vocals, you know, but it was just the remix as it was. And then, you know, played it for Murder. Murder's like, this sounds great, man. But it feels like there's something missing. If we can have like a chant or something. It's like, I'm like, it's cool. It's like, okay, cool. Can I play around? I'm like, do your thing. Went away, went to Brandon. Brandon came in. Yaba, yaba, yaba. Yeah, you know? And then just the small thing, man. Just the small change in that thing, or a small addition, or that becomes something major, becomes something that is iconic in the song, you know. So I believe in that power of collaboration, and for me to be able to work with people like Bongs, it's been a blessing.
Amazing. I don't have, unfortunately, as much time as I would have liked to go through the complete history. But before we wrap up, I do have a few questions I want to ask you. The first one is, you know, where is Thakzin going at the moment? Where's the end goal for you? Because you're still on your trajectory. Things are still climbing. I think global takeover is going to happen at some point. I think you're conquering South Africa. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yo, firstly, about the music, I feel like my perspective has been, like I said, has been more on an imaginary side, where I'm imagining myself playing it. It shows like this, but now I'm getting there. And when I get there, you get to experience the culture, you get to experience the music, you get to hear, oh, this is what moves people, this is, and then I'm like, maybe the future is actually incorporating all of those things in the rest of the world.
Sure.
You know, you can have it year in, year out. Year one, I'm that side. I'm experimenting this side. The other year, I'm experimenting this side. But for me, is to just grow the music, grow the culture, and to continue be innovative as much as I can, and to also instill that thing also on the youth, or on the next coming generation. I want to be able to go to if God forbid my time comes, I'm there with you, Frankie Knuckles. I'm
Of
like,
course.
like,
Yeah. I think
dude.
all of us are creating this in the world that we're living in right now.
Yeah, and I need to be able to have something to say when they say, what did you do for the culture? I need to be able to say, I was able to also push the envelope forward. 2024 or 2023, and this and this and this happened. I was able to do this. So it's about just having an impact in the game or in the culture that will help change people's lives.
Which I think you're doing at the moment without even really knowing like the impact that's coming through. But I hear it in the records that I get sent every single day, that, you know, the music that you created and the ideas are coming through in so many producers' records. So you're already like doing exactly what you wanted to achieve. Two more questions before we wrap things up. As a South African exporting your style, your genre to the world,
Yeah.
what sort of challenges are you faced with?
Yo, being heard. You know, it's nice pushing this. It's nice being able to, okay, I'm going to go to the rest of the world. I'm going to come as I am. But remember, the rest of the world doesn't know.
I totally hear
know?
you, man. Like, yeah, me coming here, same story. Like, before we switched the mics on, it was very much like, I'm at the bottom of the pile now. Whereas in South Africa, you're at the top of the pile. So you've got to fight your way
True.
to get where you need
True.
outside of South Africa.
You know, also it's that whole thing, you know, you play a set and then you can sort of see people. Yes, it's nice they're learning, but you can sort of tell at some point that, no, dude, we're tired of learning. Can we go back to our you know? And it's those things where as time goes on, your DJ instincts have to kick in.
Yeah.
You know, you're not only a producer, you're also a DJ. You need to be able to do this, and it's those things, and it's also learning the logistics of traveling, learning time,
Sure.
learning this and this, the difficulties of, hey, I'm at the airport, visa, this and this, you
Things
know.
are not easy coming from SA, man.
Yeah, it's not so simple, but being
Yeah.
able to now have the knowledge and maybe have the people that might help you get to where you are, it's something that is more or less needed, where it's like, okay, cool, I need to learn, I need to explore, but my mind needs to lock into the music without having to worry about the logistics, without having to worry about this and that and that and that. So it's those things that I learn along the way, where it's like, it's not as easy as people think it is.
Sure.
You know,
But
and you need the discipline also as well.
you need the discipline and you need a good team. And from what I can see, you do have very good people around you.
Yeah.
So
grateful.
I think with the right people, you know, the future's just, you know, bright moving forward.
Yeah.
Last question. What do you believe is the role for big brands and governments in supporting arts and culture?
Yo, you know, it always also goes back to these things that I'm mentioning, where it's like sometimes you need funding. You know, you need the funding to get to these places, to get your team. You know, we just spoke about my team, but now you're having to, okay, cool, you have a team of 3, 4, 5, but you have to go to London, and then the promoter's saying, yeah, I can only afford you.
No,
You
exactly.
know?
Yeah,
And then now it's a thing of, okay, I need to get there. So now if you can get help from those from the government, from whoever that can fund, where it's like, get your whole people so that you can give people a proper experience, you know, so that you can be able to get there and not having to worry about a lot of things, and not having to, you know, go through some of those things that are really unnecessary to go through, you know. But it's those things. I feel like there's a role that needs to be played also, in terms of also teaching. Like I went to, there's a place in Germany. It's called Funkhaus. You know, you get to Funkhaus. It's I see that place as a song. You know, it's a song. The song doesn't have to be perfect, but it's beautiful. You get to a space, you're like, okay, there's graffiti, there's this, but it's a world of creatives. You know, you get there, there's someone who's teaching someone Fruity Loops, there's someone who's playing guitar, there's someone who's painting, there's someone who's doing this. It's a world of creatives. And then I'm like, if we had this in SA, bro, I would always be there.
Sure.
You know, so it's things like that where it's like, I wish something like that can be done, so that it can help. It can help push the game. It can help people be innovative, want to learn. You know, can be inspired by painting, by just being there. You're looking at a painting and then you're thinking of this song. The song is already complete. You know, so it's things like that that I feel like that could help.
For sure.
That could help.
Bro, I'm so happy to see where you are right now. I feel like and I said this earlier, but have been watching from the sidelines, and you know, you are really inspiring for so many South Africans back home, and Dude, just keep doing what you're doing. Amazing producer, amazing DJ, man. Like, killing the game. Thakzin in the house. Thank you so much, bro.
Salute, brother.